Rain had a way of stripping power from people. It flattened hairstyles, soaked expensive fabric, and reduced even the most confident souls to something raw and human. That night, rain poured relentlessly, as Olivia Reynolds stood frozen outside a modest apartment door, her heart pounding harder than any boardroom confrontation she had ever faced. She had closed billion-dollar deals without blinking, silenced rooms full of executives twice her age with a single look, and built an empire from nothing but ambition and grit. Yet here she was, hands trembling, breath shallow, terrified of one quiet man behind the wooden door. For years, she had mastered the art of control. Feelings were liabilities. Vulnerability was weakness. Love was a distraction she had buried beneath spreadsheets, deadlines, and glass-walled offices high above the city. But something had shifted, slowly and relentlessly, and tonight she could no longer ignore it. Tonight she had driven through the storm, not as Olivia Reynolds, CEO, but as a woman desperate to tell the truth she had locked away for too long. Inside the apartment, James Sullivan had just finished wiping down the kitchen counter. Friday nights were sacred in his small world. His 7-year-old daughter Emma had finally fallen asleep after their weekly movie ritual, her stuffed rabbit tucked under her arm, her soft breathing filling the quiet apartment. These moments of stillness were rare, and James treasured them. Life had taught him to value peace, because peace had once been ripped away without warning. The knock startled him. It was nearly 9. No one ever came by this late. His first thought was Emma. His second was worry. When he opened the door, the sight before him nearly made him drop the glass in his hand. Standing there, drenched and shaken, was Olivia Reynolds, his boss, the founder of the company that paid his bills, the woman whose name appeared on magazine covers and conference stages. She looked nothing like that woman now. Her hair clung to her face, rainwater streaked down her designer blouse, and the strength she wore like armor at work was nowhere to be seen. Concern replaced shock as he ushered her inside. The apartment was simple but warm, filled with evidence of a life built around love rather than luxury. Crayon drawings covered the fridge. A half-finished puzzle lay abandoned on the coffee table. Olivia noticed everything, and something inside her ached. Her penthouse was immaculate, silent, and lonely. This place felt alive. As James handed her a towel and made tea, Olivia's eyes landed on a framed photograph. A younger James stood beside a beautiful woman, joy shining from both of them as they cradled a newborn. The sight tightened her chest. When James spoke of his late wife, of the accident that took her 4 years earlier, his voice was steady, but his pain was unmistakable. Olivia listened, truly listened, and realized how rare that was in her life. People usually spoke to her with agendas, rehearsed words, and hidden motives. James spoke with honesty, because he had nothing to prove. The truth spilled out of her before she could stop it. She spoke of the charity gala, of the endless parade of men who made sense on paper, but left her feeling hollow. She admitted what terrified her most, that despite having everything, she had never felt more alone. And then she said the words that had been building inside her for years. She wanted him, not the idea of him. Him. James was overwhelmed. He saw himself as ordinary, a widower, an accountant, a father whose entire universe revolved around his daughter. Olivia was extraordinary, powerful, untouchable. Yet as she spoke, her vulnerability shattered the illusion he had built around her. She wasn't untouchable. She was human and lonely and brave enough to show up at his door soaked in rain to tell the truth. Their conversation stretched deep into the night, unfolding like a slow, careful dance. He spoke of Sarah, of grief, of rebuilding a life, piece by piece, around Emma's needs. Olivia spoke of her childhood, of poverty, of ambition forged through chaos, of relationships sacrificed on the altar of success. Somewhere between shared pain and quiet understanding, a fragile bridge formed. That bridge was interrupted by a small voice calling for her father. Emma appeared, sleepy and curious, and with the innocent honesty only a child possesses, she asked the question neither adult was prepared for. The awkwardness broke the tension, and laughter softened the fear. Olivia saw James, not just as a man, but as a father. James saw Olivia not just as a CEO, but as someone who looked at his daughter with warmth instead of distance. Nothing was decided that night, but everything changed. They started slowly, dinner in quiet places where titles didn't matter, conversations that stretched for hours, moments where Olivia learned how to be present instead of productive, and James learned that joy didn't have to end with loss. Olivia showed up for zoo trips and school plays, trading heels for sneakers, board meetings for bedtime stories. James watched the woman who once intimidated entire rooms kneel on the floor, helping Emma with homework, her face lit with a joy no award had ever given her. The world, of course, had opinions. Rumors spread. Colleagues whispered. Articles questioned her judgment. People reduced their relationship to headlines and assumptions, ignoring the truth unfolding quietly behind closed doors. When criticism cut deep, Olivia wavered, but James stood firm. He reminded her that love was not a liability, and happiness was not a scandal. The real test came when Emma struggled. Fear has a voice, and for a child who had already lost one mother, change was terrifying. Olivia never tried to replace Sarah. She honored her. She listened. She waited. And slowly, trust grew. Love followed. When James finally said the words he never thought he would say again, it wasn't dramatic. It was honest. Love rediscovered not as fireworks, but as warmth, as safety, as home. Their lives merged not in grand gestures, but in shared routines. Pancakes on Sundays, camping trips under open skies, board games that ended in laughter. Olivia redefined success. James found purpose beyond survival. Together, they built something neither could have imagined alone. The proposal came quietly, on a balcony overlooking a city that once symbolized ambition and now represented possibility. Emma knew before anyone else. She always did. When Olivia said yes, it wasn't just to a man, but to a family. Their wedding was intimate, deeply human, and unforgettable. When Emma offered Olivia a pendant symbolizing belonging without replacement, there wasn't a dry eye in the garden. It wasn't about perfection. It was about intention, about choosing love again, even when it scared you. Years passed. Challenges came and went. Careers evolved. A new child joined the family. The same magazines that once criticized them now praised their partnership, missing the point entirely. Success had never been the story. Love had. One evening, years later, Olivia stood in the doorway, watching her family exist in a moment so ordinary and so perfect, it took her breath away. James building towers on the floor, Emma reading nearby, their son laughing as blocks crashed down. Her phone buzzed with work notifications she no longer rushed to answer. She realized then that the most powerful decision she had ever made wasn't founding a company or conquering an industry. It was knocking on one quiet door on a rainy night and choosing truth over fear. Because sometimes the bravest thing you can do isn't climbing higher, it's stepping closer. It's allowing yourself to be seen. It's understanding that real success isn't measured in titles or applause, but in love shared, wounds healed, and family built from courage. And if this story touched something in you, if it reminded you that it's never too late to choose love, to risk vulnerability, or to redefine what success means in your own life, then don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and stay with us. Because the most powerful stories aren't about fame or fortune. They're about ordinary people who dare to open the door when life knocks.